Jack is a great guy. He's written a fantastic book. Everybody's talking about it. Go get it. And he's been my friend right from the beginning of this whole beautiful event. And we're going to turn it around and make our country great again. Amen.
All right, Jack Posobiec, we're back live here, Human Events Daily. We're on with Cliff Maloney of the NJ Chase, and of course you know him from the PA Chase. He's putting his PA Chase hat on right now, as well as his Philadelphia Eagles hat, who defeated the dreaded Giants last weekend and restored the honor of the city. But we're also excited to be joined by a very special guest. Her name is Maria Battista, and she is running for Superior Court in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Our all. So you got a Pennsylvania-wide panel here today. I think we've got Montco, we've got Delco, and we've got Oil City. Are you Benango or is that Butler County?
Clarion County. I don't live in
Clarion
Oil
County.
City.
I was close. I was very close.
Yeah. Oil City's close. It's about 20 miles away. That's in Venango County. I live in Clarion County.
Okay. So you're right. I've been to Oil City. Then all right, though. But I've been to Clarion. So tell us about the race. Tell us what you're up to in Pennsylvania.
Well, I have been working hard. As of Monday, I've hit all 67 counties. Very excited about that. Many counties I've hit multiple times. What people want, no matter where they are, whether it's a rural county or it's a more suburban or urban county, is they want a fair shake when they come to court. And, some people do not have trust in our judicial system. They want transparency, and they want to know that politics is kept out of the courtroom. It doesn't matter where you come from. That was my map that you're showing right now from 2023. There were 2 seats in 2023, 4 candidates, 2 Republicans, 2 Democrats, and I came in first place in 52 of 67 counties. And people said to me, Maria, if you won that many counties with 4 candidates, why isn't that you don't have a seat on the Superior Court? And I lost by 1.39%. That comes out to 77,995 votes. The race was too close to call. I won at the polls by almost 200,000 votes, but it was the mail-in ballots. 2 years ago, many people were still skeptical about the mail-in ballots, but we've seen great strides and great improvement in that number. And because of organizations like PA Chase, Early Vote Action, Turning Point, since 2023, our registration numbers have really improved dramatically with the new registrations and more people getting engaged with these judicial races. I have a lot of confidence that we're going to be successful on November 4th.
Well, it's incredible to hear. So, you mentioned the PA Chase, and we've got, of course, the founder of the PA Chase right here, Cliff Maloney. Cliff, walk us through, sort of the sea change that she's talking about from 2023 to 2024 and now going into 25 when it comes to mail-in ballots, because this is very new for Pennsylvania. Early voting is not something that we've had sort of in our lifeblood, in our DNA, in our history right up until these recent years.
Yeah, well, let me start off by saying Maria's a fantastic candidate. She's working hard, all 67 counties. I mean, that's the type of person that we love to have at the top of the ticket, and she's just working so hard. We appreciate that. The good news is she's right when she says the problem in 2023 was mail-in ballots. Well, if you look at the numbers, I want to pull these real quick for you guys. At this time, if you look right now, when we're talking about the vote by mail discrepancy, Republican versus Democrat in Pennsylvania, the Democrats are up 270,000. Now, you might say, well, that's horrible. Well, Maria's going to dominate election day, right? We're going to turn our voters out. What was it in 2023? Remember, right now, Democrats are up 270,000 when it comes to returns, Republican versus Democrat. In 2023, it was 430,000. So think about that. They're obviously going to keep climbing, which is what they do. But we only lost that race by 70,000 votes. Right? Maria's working hard. We're fixing the vote by mail. And I really do think, people talk about the Supreme Court retention races. That's great. At every door we knock on, we've knocked on 440,000 doors since August 4th. We're on our way to 500,000. At every door that we knock on, we're talking about the retention races. But they're pretty much impossible to win. We're going to fight hard. But what's winnable? Maria Battista's race, both the Superior Court and the Commonwealth Court with Matt, another great candidate, these are big races where you have actual Republicans and actual Democrats on the ballot. And if we're returning at the rate that we are right now, Maria Battista will get elected to the Superior Court. It will be a huge win, and the PA Chase is honored to be a part of it.
Well, that's absolutely incredible, Maria. When you're out there, when you're meeting with people, when you're talking with Pennsylvanians, what are some of people really telling you as we go through the state, as we go through the Commonwealth there, in terms of what their main interests are, in this race?
They want politics out of the courtroom. They feel like, at the federal level, the judges are appointed, by the president. In Pennsylvania, we're very fortunate still that people can elect their judges. That's not the case like in New Jersey. You're talking a lot about New Jersey right now, the governor's race. So it's a privilege, and people don't understand how important that is. But anyone on the ground they just want fairness. They want honesty. They want integrity. And that hasn't changed. That message hasn't changed. The message that I hear more resoundingly than I did in 23 is keep politics out of the courtroom. We want independent people that are going to do what's right in every single case. That is what our judicial system is. It is a separate branch of government from our legislative branch and our executive branch. And, people ask me, well, why did you get into this race in the first place? I was not recruited to run. It's not something that I thought about just last year. This actually started 15 years ago. I was one of the few lawyers in the Commonwealth that I was teaching a course called Juvenile Justice, and that's when the Cash for Kids scandal broke in 2009. And so we designed a program. We aired it statewide on Pennsylvania Cable Network in 2010. And the courts, as protectors of children, over 5,000 children's lives were impacted based on the corruption of 2 judges in Luzerne County. Some committed suicide, and 2 justices and some Court of Common Pleas judges and some of the other high courts, including the Superior Court, were on my panel. And so Justice Sandra Schultz Newman, who was the first female elected to the Supreme Court, says, Maria, this is great what you're doing. You're trying to give a voice to the voiceless, but why aren't you running for judge? I never thought about it before that. It took me 13 years before I made that a firm decision that I was going to run. But, it's very important. We can only impact our judicial system one judge at a time. And these are 10-year terms. This court has been coined as the People's Court, the Superior Court, because people are familiar with the Court of Common Pleas in each of the 67 counties in Pennsylvania, and that hears all of your criminal cases and civil cases. But when those criminal cases go up on appeal, they go to the Superior Court. And I ask people when I'm traveling, do you care about your families? Do you care about your children? Do you care about your property rights, business matters? If you've ever engaged in a contract, either personally or professionally, if you're injured, and I'm not talking about workers' comp because it's a little different, but say that you're injured in the hospital setting or in a car accident and so many other ways, all of those types of civil cases, if appealed from the Court of Common Pleas, which is right below, if you see this triangle, at the top of the triangle is our Pennsylvania Supreme Court. There are 7 justices. But the busiest court in Pennsylvania is the Superior Court. The one in red, there are 15 judges.
Well, we certainly know that after the last couple of years, we certainly know the importance of getting the right judges. Cliff, throw out, if people want to get involved, what's the best way?
Sure. If folks want to sponsor a ballot chaser, pachase.com. But if you want to give directly to Maria, she has to hold back on what she says. So I'll say it, batistaforjudge.com. batistaforjudge.com, pachase.com. Maria, we're rooting for you. We'll be right there through the finish line. Jack, thanks so much for having us today.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much, Maria. Thank you, Cliff.
Thank you.
God bless. All right. I'll see both of you guys very soon. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready. Right? Remember, J.D. Vance and Erica Kirk tonight, Ole Miss. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, you have my permission to lay ashore.